All right, hello there, friends. It is Jimmie Maverick, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how exactly does my app work with finding you the best players in each round. I want to kind of explain the process as to how it actually works. So, this is from my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft. You can access it through my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. The website got a nice upgrade this past season, and so did the app. So, when you get into the app, it looks like this. Now, this is just the raw list, which has, this is like a top 250 player list. But the most important thing that I want to stress to you here is that I have an algorithm that I use to create the order. I call it expected draft position. And what I'm trying to do is give you the best idea as to when that player is going to be going in the draft. Now, of course, every draft is different, and sometimes players get taken super early, and there's nothing you can do about that. But I think you will find that my app is going to be very, very good at telling you, get this player in this round, and then go for this player in the next round, okay? And I'm going to show you how it works. Now, obviously, to maximize the effectiveness of this tool, you want to engage draft mode. So if you go down here to the draft mode button, you can click on it, and it basically asks you two questions, all right? So what's the size of your league? Let's do a 10-team league today, just for examples, and we will pick someone somewhere in the middle. Let's just say we're doing the 7th round, the 7th pick in a 10-team league. So let's go into draft mode, and what it does is it brings up this whole set of tabs, and what this represents is every round of your draft. And so if we go to, let's say, the 5th round, you will see here, I'm going to minimize this so we can actually see the players. You can see that the players are listed, and if you want to see their expected draft position, this is the column that shows the expected draft position, all right? And you can sort these columns, by the way, and so you can see here that for the 5th round, we're going to look at players whose ADP is between 44 and 55, all right? But we don't sort them like that, okay? We're sorting them according to the VORC score, which is over here, and the highest, sometimes you have to double click because it'll, but I had to click it twice to get it so that the highest VORC score is at the top, all right? So you can see the player with the highest VORC score is Phillip LIndsay. All right, that is the player that we're recommending here. Now, of course, he's dealing with that wrist injury, and he has the injury designation. I'm currently under the assumption that he will be fine for the regular season, just like David Johnson was last year, all right? So I'm really not concerned about his injury at this point, but that is actually holding his score down because you can see that his outlook rating is only 2 stars. That's because he's having 3 stars subtracted from his score for that injury designation. So once he's cleared to play, that's going to go away. He's going to be a 5-star player. He's even going to be more valuable, all right? Now, how is this VORC score calculated? So the 4 key stats make up this score. So you've got value, you've got outlook, which we just talked about briefly. We've got the reliability and the consistency. These are all these final 4 columns over here. When you're in draft mode, they're all sorted to this end of the screen. Okay. Now, what's the value score? Well, the value is very easy. It's taking his projected stats and is multiplying it by your league point schedule. Now, this is a PPR league, so that is how his points are being calculated. You can see his projected points right there, and then he gets a value score, and that's just a ranking. He's the 31st best player according to points scored, all right? Now, because his expected draft position is 50, that means he is a value. He has value, nearly 2 rounds of value here, that you can get as your 5th round pick. That makes him a great choice. And if you look over here on his VORC score, his value, he gets 16 points for his value. Basically what that is round 5, based on where we pick, the 5th round, we get the 47th pick, all right? So we take 47 minus 31, that gets you the value score of 16. Now, if let's say his value was 50, he would have a value score of minus 3 because it'd be pick number 47 minus 50, so it'd be negative 3. So that's not nearly as good. Now you can see also on the outlook score, he is currently getting 0 points. That's because he has a 2-star rating. Now, if you want to see how the Outlook score is calculated, you can click on his name and you open up a detail screen. You can look at his historic stats. You can look at my commentary about him, and you can also look down here at his criteria. This is how the Outlook score is calculated. So if we review this, you can see that he gets +1 for a new head coach. He is high reliable and high consistency, but he doesn't get any points for that because those are the other two columns. He is currently undervalued as well. Those don't affect his Outlook score, though. He is calculated to give RB2 volume, so that gives him +2 points. And he's an elite RB pass catcher, which also gives him +2 points. You can see here we are projecting him to get 64 targets during this next season. That puts him at the elite level for running back pass catchers. All right. On the negative side, he is injured right now, so he gets -3 stars for that, and he gets -1 star because it's going to be his sophomore year, and I call it the sophomore slump. Lots of players get it. It's just a small negative on his Outlook. So, like I said, once that injury designation goes away, he will be a 5-star player, and on his VORC score, he's going to get 20 points there. So he's going to go up to a VORC score of 76, which is amazingly good. All right. Then the final two columns you see here are, let me just get them. You just have to hover over it. And sometimes it's a little bit testy about that. Let's try it. There we go. Reliability and consistency. If you look over on the far right side, you will see reliability, high, consistency, 10 out of 10. That's as good as you can get. That's why he gets 20 points for each. Now, if we look at some of the other players, you'll see why they don't score as high. You know, you've got someone like, let's look at the bottom of the score. You've got Sammy Watkins at -2. Now, why is Sammy Watkins so poor a play? Well, first of all, he does not offer nearly as much value as Phillip LIndsay does. You can see his value score over here is 54. And his expected draft position is 52, which means he's fair valued for where he is. But based on our pick number 47, -54, that equals -7 for his value score there. The Outlook, again, he is also a 2-star player. He's not injured, but if we look at his detail, let's see what's going on with Sammy Watkins. Go down here and you can see positive criteria. He's got high consistency and he gets wide receiver flex volume, so that's a positive, +1. And on negative criteria, he has low reliability. So he only gets 1 additional star. There's nothing else pushing his score up as far as the Outlook goes. So he gets 0 points for that, right? Now, reliability is his big problem. He is a low reliability player. So he gets -10 points for that. So that you can see he has huge negatives. And then his strongest positive is his high reliability, his high consistency at 7 out of 10, which is fairly good, 15 points for that. So he ends with a -2 score. And basically this just means Sammy Watkins is not a good pick this year, all right? Look elsewhere. You can look at some of these other players here, and if you see here the guns here, that means the player is a long shot, which means there is a less than 50-50 chance that that player will be available when it comes time for your pick. You know, Derrick Henry, he is expected to go at pick number 45. You have pick number 47. James White is expected to go at pick 46. Again, you're at pick 47. Chris Godwin is pick 47, so that you probably got a 50-50 chance to get Chris Godwin. And then Alshon Jeffrey is 44, so he would probably most likely be gone at this point. You also see here that we've got Kenyon Drake, we've got Tyler Lockett, we've got Calvin Ridley, all with the little reach hands on them. And all that means is that those guys are going to be the guys that are going to be the long shots on your next round, right? If we jump to round number 6, you will see Kenyon Drake and Tyler Lockett, and there's Chris Carson, Sammy Watkins. All those guys are considered long shots on the next round. And so what I like to say is, if there's a reach player and you really, really like that player, if that player is really, really highly rated, you should take him that round instead of waiting for the next round, because you're gambling, right? You're gambling, and chances are, better than 50-50 shot, you're not going to be able to get him, all right? So that's important to know. But you can see here, of all these long shots and reaches, I'm just best off taking Phillip LIndsay. He's my #1 choice. But, you know, let's say I wanted to go wide receiver, you know, if Chris Godwin was available by the time it came to me, he would be my top wide receiver pick. but you also got Kenny Golladay here that you could get. But again, as you go down the list here, these players have more and more negatives attached to them. And so that's basically how it works. That's why it's so easy round to round for you to find the right player, is because the VORC score just lays it out. Top of the list. That's where you need to look. Avoid the players at the bottom half of the list. You don't even need to worry about them. They're not good choices for your team. All right? So, I hope that explained it clearly. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me, Jimmie at fantasyfootballmaverick.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Please like and subscribe, and I'm going to do more mock drafts soon using the app. All right, so thank you very much. Go check out my website, Fantasy Football Maverick, as well, and try the app out. I think you'll like it. And if you get a full subscription, we have you access all the features of the app. You can use it on any size league, 8 to 14 team leagues. You can set your own point schedule. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do. So anyway, that's my pitch. And thanks very much for watching, and have yourself, man, a great fantasy season.